I made a video at the beginning of the year that talked about the best gaming audio solutions, and one of the products I covered in that video was IEMs. I think IEMs can be a great option if voice chat isn't essential, or if you're interested in better audio quality than a headset, but don't want to spend a fortune. Up until this point, I haven't done any dedicated IEM reviews. This is mainly because IEMs have historically been the domain of audiophiles, and while I think I have a marginally better understanding than the average gamer of what defines good quality audio, I'm still only an enthusiast. But that got me thinking, you don't have to be an audiophile to appreciate good quality audio, and there are plenty of benefits to choosing IEMs for gaming over a headset. So I'm going to start reviewing the occasional IEM through the lens of gaming, and the first product I want to talk about is the Simgot EM6L. The EM6L is an IEM that sits in the $150 Australian or $100 US price range. So it's not exactly a budget solution, but it's also far from the most expensive. It'll suit someone who's looking for a step up in audio quality from their current similar priced headset, and who also doesn't want to spend upwards of $300 to $400 to get something significantly better. Simgot have positioned this as being tuned specifically for gaming, and for those who understand what this is, it's been tuned for the Harman 2019 target curve. So it theoretically should have good soundstage positioning and imaging. In layman's terms, this means that it should be easy to hear individual sounds and pick out where these sounds are coming from. Now, in the box you get the IEMs, obviously, and you get a nice silver-plated OFC cable with a 3.5mm connection. You get 3 different sized tips, a small that's reasonably small and both a medium and a large size. The small suits my small ears fine, although if you have medium-sized ears, you might need to invest in some additional tips, because the medium and large were clearly designed for giants. Finally, you get a hardshell carry case that has a little pocket inside for your accessories. I like this style of case over the change purse style you sometimes get with other IEMs. It gives you a little bit of protection and it makes it easy to carry and find things like your tips. I think one of the most important things to consider with any IEM for use with gaming is comfort. They can be the best sounding thing you've ever heard, but if wearing them for more than an hour hurts your ears, then they're not going to be much use for long sessions. Obviously, comfort with this sort of thing is incredibly subjective, but for reference, I find most earbuds and IEMs uncomfortable after about 2 hours, so I think my ears are reasonably fussy. iPod Airs, for example, are no bueno at around the 90-minute mark for me. The EM6L design is compact, and unlike some other IEMs I own, the shape is simple. It isn't trying to match the contours of your ear canal, and for me at least, this approach seems to be less taxing in the long run. The part of the cable that wraps around your ear is really flexible, making them quick and easy to put on and take off. It does hold its shape, although you can't mold it to give it a looser or tighter fit. It also uses the standard dual pin connector, so you can upgrade it to something else if you don't like the cable it comes with. I did the majority of my testing on the PS5 with a small amount using the Switch. The sound quality for gaming is great. They have a U-shaped sound signature, so there's plenty of bass and they sound bright enough too. Overall, they have a fun sound that I think most people will enjoy. I think they absolutely deliver on the promise of good positional audio. It's very easy to pinpoint individual sounds and locate them in space, which makes them excellent for competitive games or for games which have a focus on positional audio. So, horror games would be a good example, where being able to hear what's around you in the environment is critical. I really haven't used another IEM that has imaging as good as the EM6L. In Battlefield or Call of Duty, for example, you can clearly hear what direction gunfire and footsteps are coming from. In racing games, you can tell where a rival car is in relation to yours, and it sounds incredible when you're surrounded by other cars. I've used them across a bunch of different games, from horror to FPS to racing and fighting games, and found the experience to be very consistent. I was always able to hear important audio cues, while epic moments like explosions remained suitably epic. They're also pretty good for most types of music, although I think the mids sound a touch rolled off, and this results in vocals getting a bit lost in the mix. I didn't find this an issue while gaming though. Hearing dialogue, for example, is fine. It's just with some music tracks it sounds like the vocals are almost part of the background instead of being front and center. Otherwise, they're a great IEM for listening to a wide variety of music. I didn't spend a lot of time testing movies and TV shows, but they seem to perform well here too. Again, dialogue is clear while music and effects come across with a decent level of impact. I think they're probably better suited to gaming than music because while the imaging is really clear, it does come across, at least to me, as a tiny bit artificial sounding. This isn't an issue when gaming because you want to be able to easily pick out audio cues from the rest of the mix. For music though, having a more natural mix I think delivers a better experience. Look, I'm going to stop talking before I end up sounding like a complete tool. The bottom line is that they work well for both gaming and music, but are probably better suited to the former rather than the latter. I think at this price point you can get IEMs that are better suited for specific use cases. Like if you want something specifically for music, there are a lot of choices, such as the 7Hz Chronicle that arguably will sound better. But the EM6L sounds good for everything, not just gaming or music. That said, its superpower is with games, and that's simply because it has the best imaging in an IEM that I've heard in the sub $200 US price range. The Sennheiser IE200 is a close contender, but it's a fair bit more expensive and probably a bit too neutral or flat sounding for the average gamer. If you're looking to take the next step in audio quality for gaming and/or you play a lot of competitive games, the Simgot EM6L is an excellent choice.